are live. Ladies with Stories is live. Ladies with Stories with Rachel K is live. We are live here, live here, live here. Good evening, my beautiful and amazing people. It's your favorite girl, Rachel K. Viewing, watching, airing from the beautiful city of Glasgow. Please kindly comment in the section box with where you're watching from so we can say hi to you and hi to the people in your vicinity. It's going to be a beautiful evening. Trust me. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you. Good evening. Good evening. Good to have you. Good to have you. Where are you viewing from? Kindly comment in the section box and please don't forget to share this video. Please share, 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 share. Just click share button. That is all. Don't add comments and just click share. It will go. So good evening, good evening. How are you? How are you? How are you? How was service? Did you go to church? Did you go? And to our Muslim faithfuls, Barakah, Salah, where is our ram? We want to eat ram, we want to eat meat. So please, our meat, bring it to the table. Let's have a beautiful dinner this evening. Good evening, guys. Good evening, good to be here. So excited about today. How are you? Who is online? Yep. Right from Kaduna State, Petrolina is here. Hello, Pat. How are you? Good to have you. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you for joining. Kindly share the video. Thank you. Let people know Ladies with Stories with Rachel K is live, happening live. And today we are bringing you the beautiful Chibok story. You know, we've been hearing for the past 8 years. They say it don't happen. News bring person talk this station is airing it, that one is airing it. This is what happened 8 years ago. But today I'm so excited because we're going to have somebody that was there. So we're going to have first-hand reports, you know, first-hand. Yep. So guys, share the video, share the video, share the video. Let people know we are live so we can start. Our guest is ready and waiting. So guys, waiting for you to share it. And if you're new to the platform, Ladies with Stories is a platform where women share their stories with the aim of inspiring and empowering women to succeed. You may want to ask, what kind of stories do we share? We share stories of abuses, stories of challenges, success stories, health stories, inspirational stories, as long as you have a story that can inspire and empower someone to succeed. Ladies with Stories is the place for that story. So guys, share your story. Somebody needs to hear that you have been through this. Somebody needs to know that there is a level and there is a journey to success. So guys, share your story and always come back to hear stories of beautiful women that are doing really good in their lives at the moment. And we share stories on Fridays fortnightly, but today is different because of our guest schedule and the time difference. Nigeria and USA is different. There's so much time difference, about 5 hours thereabouts, so it's not going to be favorable for her. And then we have our Wednesday woman. Our Wednesday woman celebrates hard and smart working women around the globe. And we do that fortnightly on Wednesdays. So we have Wednesday woman, we have our Friday shows, and we added our weekly Friday discussions on our laws group. There is a group, Ladies with Stories group, not the page. So we usually discuss things that will inspire and help us. So I have spoken. How are you? How are you? What's happening in your side? Before we bring our guest up, how are you? Thank you, Clara. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Kindly share the video. Where are you viewing from? Say something. How is service? How are you doing? Hope you're good. Kindly share the video. We are live. Let people know Ladies with Stories is live. We're live. Have you followed us on YouTube? We have a YouTube, have you subscribed on YouTube? We have a YouTube handle, Ladies with Stories. Kindly subscribe. We have on Twitter, Ladies with Stories. Kindly follow us. We have on Instagram, Ladies with Stories. Kindly follow us so that we can grow the community and inspire more women to do great things and share their stories. So, guys, we'll be back after the short break with our beautiful and amazing guest for tonight. Yep. Our guest is right here. Joy Bishara is right here with us. Come on, it's such a privilege to have you on Ladies with Stories platform. We have been hearing, there was a Chibok attack, there was this, there was that. So it's good to have you this evening on the platform. I find this as a very, very big privilege to have you on the platform. Thank you so much. But before I let you speak, I need to read your biography to our fellow community members. For those that haven't read it, Joy Bishara is among the Chibok girls who were kidnapped by the Boko Haram terrorists on April 14th, 2014 in Chibok local government area of Borno State, Nigeria. Joy escaped and came to America to finish her studies. She graduated from high school in 2017 and was awarded a full ride scholarship to SEU. Joy finished her undergraduate studies in 2021 and bagged her master's in social works from Southeastern University in 2022. Joy has been featured numerous times on the national television. She was featured on ABC's Good Morning America last May, as well as the recent copy of People magazine. Joy has addressed the United Nations, met with the President of Nigeria and other head of states. In 2017, she met with President Trump in Oval Office, which was arranged by Doug Wead. It was on the White House picture of the day. Come on, such an honor to be on the picture of the day of the White House. I want to be there someday. Joy would love to open a non-profit agency in Nigeria to help those in need around Borno State. Guys, with a round of applause, a big smile, a high five, make welcome our guest, Joy Bishara. Good to have you, Joy. What a profile. What a profile. Come on. This is so beautiful. It's really amazing. We're really excited to have you this evening. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, considering how busy your schedules are. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome, and thank you for the introduction. You're so
You're
sweet.
welcome.
Hello everyone. Yes, my name is Joy Bishara, and I am from Chibok, Nigeria, Borno State. I didn't grow up there though. My dad is a policeman, so I grew up in Taraba State where he works. But
Okay.
some incidents kind of occurred, and we moved back to the Chibok area for my dad to figure some 102 things at the time, and then that was 2012. So I moved back there, and it was taking him a bit longer to figure things out to bring us back to Taraba, Jalingo, where we were staying at. So he decided to put us back in school, and that's how I ended up at the GSS Chibok high school in Chibok. And I've been there for my junior year, my senior year, and our senior year when we were writing our YEC to graduate. We were not even supposed to be in school because we were on break, but we had to be there to finish our exams. So it was just the senior students that were there, thankfully. And it's not a pleasant incident that happened, but I'm glad that it was just the seniors, or else it would have been a lot more girls taken that night than just about almost 300 girls. So
Yeah.
that night, on that fateful night, I remembered on that day, actually, we took an exam, and the next day we were not supposed to have an exam. And that means we will have like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday without exams. So some girls wanted to go back home to spend the time with their families. So they did. Some were able to gain pass, because you have to be given pass to go back home. The gate, you can't, not anyone can just walk out and walk in. You have to be allowed to go out. So most of us were still on the campus, and on that fateful night we ate, we went to the cafeteria, ate, went back home to the dormitory where we were staying. And on that night we were laying down and we danced, chit chat, you know, schoolgirls, and we hanged out with our friends and did all that. And then I remembered with being woken up. I don't remember when I fell asleep because it was such a great night. We were all just having fun. And I remembered being woken up by my friend. And she said, "Joy, wake up." I woke up and there was like, the ground was shaking. And then for some weird reason, I went straight back to sleep because I was so sleepy. I just told her to leave me alone. And then I went back to sleep. She woke me up the second time and she's like, "Okay, I'm serious. You need to listen." And then I paid attention and there was like gunshots outside of our gate. Mind you, our dormitory is super far away from the campus where the classes were taking place. It was a little bit far, but you can hear the gunshots and bombs and stuff like that just going outside of the campus. And I was like, what is going on? And at that moment, what I thought of was, oh, the world is coming to an end. Yeah, the Lord is here to take us back to heaven. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. My friend grew up there, so she knew what it was. She was like, "No, it's the Boko Haram people." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I take it back. This is not what I thought." And then I heard of stories of what the Boko Haram people do, but because I didn't grow up there, I don't really fully know what they do until like some people tell me stories of how they deal with people and how they handle things. And once she said it's the Boko Haram people, my heart just started pounding. I'm like, huh? Who? The Boko Haram? And that's not a good news. So I just started shaking. I was confused because I know what they do. They just kill, especially like particularly those people who are not of the same belief as them. So what scared me the most is that I am in the middle of trouble right now, and what I could think of was my mom, because I have about, at the time I have about 6 brothers, and I usually help her with my brothers whenever we need to get away or do things. I help her out with that. And I was just worried that they won't be able to get to safety before these people get to the Chibok area, because the Boko Haram people have to pass our school before they can get to town. Our school is a little bit out of town. So I was just worried about my mom and my brothers getting to safety. And then there was just like this knock at the gate. And I was like, oh no, we can hear it all the way here, then we are in trouble and all of that. And we were just sitting down trying to contemplate. We were confused. You know how like when you're scared, you get into the mood of like Frozen or Flight or stuff like that kind of thing. For me personally, we were just chit-chatting. People were talking. And it was confusing because everybody's saying different things. We were not allowed to leave the school. Like I stated before, we need permission to leave the school. So we were all still in the school, just hoping they don't know we were in school since we were supposed to be on a break. And we all prayed for our family to get to safety. Everybody was just trying to figure out what to do or how to go about it. And then one man actually came in. And he came in. Well, it was just him. He was dressed in a soldier uniform. And when he came in, we thought he was a soldier. We naively believed he was a soldier. And when he came in, he was like, "Oh, I'm a soldier. I heard what's happening outside, and I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to protect you from what's going on outside." So I was like, okay. Interesting, because we usually have soldiers outside our gate whenever we are scared or run out of the class, run out of our dormitory because somebody saw something in a white clothes. Like just people imagining things. Sometimes we start running out of the gate, and the soldiers will bring us back inside and stand there at our door until we fall asleep before they leave. So we were just used to like them coming in and comforting us when we needed. That we believed that meant he was a soldier, because we needed someone to help us at least at that moment. He came in, he told us he was a soldier. We believed him. He asked us to go wake the rest of the girls up because not everybody was awake at that time. So we went in, woke the rest of the people. At that time, for me personally, I wasn't dressed properly because it's hot. So we all just put on
And
something.
just like out of the blues.
Yes, we all just grabbed some uniform, whatever we can grab at that moment because we were just all so confused and scared. And we grabbed some things and put on, and then we woke everybody out, and then he said to get in a circle. So all of us came in a circle and we're gathered, and he was in the middle of it. And then a bunch of people started coming from the
Oh
wall,
no.
from the gate, from every corner of the dorm. So we had, at that point, there's nothing we can do. Like, it's not like you can just start running because you're seated in the middle and they're coming from every corner. So that was when I realized he was not a soldier. He just came to deceive us for them to come in.
Hmm.
And when they came in, their their leader stood in the middle where he was standing to begin with and said, "Oh, so by the way, we are Boko Haram," and he started narrating the things they do and how they get away with it and how nobody
I'll
can
give you like an introduction.
exactly how like no one can ever do anything about it. He was bragging in the sense that, oh, he's a Boko Haram. Usually they kill politicians, or they kill Christians, or they do that, or they kidnap. Like sometimes the one story that I heard that was horrific was that a pregnant lady, they cut her open just to see the gender of the baby. If it was a male, they would kill it. If it's a female, they would allow it leave. I was like, that is horrible. So he was just talking and blah, 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 and bragging. And then he decided to ask us a question. He was like, so this is what he was giving us an example so we can cooperate or listen and do what he was.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of preparing us to not disobey or do anything crazy. So his next question was, where is the engine to build blocks? And for us personally, we don't know where the engine of being the building block is. We're students. We enrolled when the school was already built. How are we supposed to know what was used to build a school? It was just like, I'm just like, you're kidding, right? Like, why are you asking that question? But at that moment, we were like, oh, we don't know where it is. And that angered him. So a lot of people started shooting guns on top of us. They're like, oh, they can just kill us here and nobody can do anything about it. So we better stop talking and blah, blah, blah. And then he pointed at two girls to stand up. And two girls stood up and he was asking them where the engine of the building block was because he thought in a group we were all just not being honest. So
Yeah.
he pointed two girls to stand up, and one of the girls was right next to me. I was like, whoo, I dodged it. Because if it was me, I don't know how I would feel being able to stand up and face him and be like, oh, I don't know where it is. I honestly don't know because
Yeah.
because he's not hearing what he needs to hear. So when she stood up, he realized we were being honest, and then he was like, okay. So we all we told him is that the only thing we see come in through the school is the food, which the government sends food for the students. It comes through and goes to the cafeteria store. That's all we see that come in. So we told him it's only things that go through the kitchen that we see that comes in. So he was like, oh, okay, well, the two girls had to go show him where the cafeteria is. So they took him down to the cafeteria is still in the host in like the classroom area. So they had to walk with him to go show him where that was. They walked with several men to go point where the cafeteria was, and all of us were still squatting down. And then one of them said to stand up and not to do anything stupid and to follow the route they're asking us to follow. Because if any girl tries anything, they're going to shoot her and nobody will do anything. He states nobody will do anything about it as if it was his favorite.
He was so certain.
Like it was kind of like his favorite word. Everything he says is like, nobody will do anything about it. And it's sad that he's actually saying the truth because I don't see them getting in trouble for nothing or them being held accountable for the things.
Yeah.
So we all stood up and obeyed and followed the route that he's directing us. We went outside of the gate of the hostel and all of us were walking. While I was walking, I was trying to count. I don't know why I thought counting them at that moment was a good idea. But I was trying to count how many men there were. And when we walked outside the gate, I was continuing to count, but the hostel is so large, and everywhere I turn, there is someone, there is people everywhere. So I lost count. But while we were walking, they set the classrooms ablaze. They set the
I'm sorry to cut you short. Was this like, did it happen in the night or during the daytime?
well, like I said, I was sleeping, so it was definitely at night. It was like
No.
they came into the Chibok area around like midnight.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in around midnight when everyone was asleep. So they woke us up with the gunshots and noises. Yeah. So while we were walking, the road was so narrow, but there was fire flames everywhere around us. We had to squeeze in to help each other not to get burned because the fire was kind of like hovering over us. Every building was set on fire, so everything was burning.
Hmm.
We were able to get to the area where they haven't set up blessed yet, which was the principal's office. And in the principal office area, uh, they left that open. They kind of unlocked it. They left it
Yeah.
open because they were still going through things in the principal's office. But when we got to the main gate to actually step out of the dorm, I mean the hostel, I mean the whole school.
The whole building, yeah.
Yes. So when we got to the gate, he asked us to all sit. All of us were sitting because there's everywhere around. There everyone around us. There's so many. It's insane how many. Some of them are super small, supposed to be in school, like babies. They're carrying guns, and
Hmm.
there's just so many adults and children involved, and it's just like it's so messed up. But while we were sitting down, he asked us to sit by the gate, and they unlocked the kitchen. The kitchen door is right up; we can see it. So they unlocked it, and he sent some men to bring some trucks. They brought some trucks, and we're packing the food from the food store. And I was like, okay, if you just came for the food, maybe
Why
we
didn't you just get the
can.
food?
I'm I was thinking they just came for the food or the pots because they were taking the pots too. They were taking pretty much everything in the store. So I thought they were just here for some like livelihood or some food that they ran out and
Mm.
wanted something. My thought is that based on the stories I heard, is that they don't kill women, they kill men. Mostly
Huh.
because they want to colonize the northern part based on the stories I heard, they want to colonize the northern part to like a Islamic population, but it's currently Muslims and Christians. So maybe that's their goal. I am not sure. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. So they were packing everything out of the store, and once they couldn't pack everything out because the trucks were full, they set the kitchen ablaze too. So everything is pretty much on fire. We were still
Wow.
sitting down there, and when they were done operating, I was thinking they will let us go, like I said, because I'm a female and I heard they don't kill women. So I was thinking when they're done operating, they would just let us go. But when they were done, they asked us to stand up, and we all stood up, and they were directing us opposite of the town we are supposed to be going to, which is home. They were directing us opposite, which is going through like other villages and
Yeah.
and like going farther away from the Chibok community. So when they were direct, I thought when we get to the gate, they will be like, okay, just go home or something like that. That was what I was hoping, but that was not what they did. They were directing us to a particular route, and that was when my heart started pounding. I was okay, where is this people taking us? And they were surrounded. We are surrounded. It's not where like okay, one person can just sneak through the bush and just escape. It's like you can't.
Yeah.
They have torchlight. They have lights. These people, I'm like, where you got all the torchlight enough to make sure everybody is in line and following your order from? Like, it's it's crazy. But we were all walking, and I remembered one of my roommate. She had surgery, and if not because she had to be there for the exam. If you don't take the exam, you don't pass. So she had to
Yeah.
be there. That's why she was there. So the surgery was still fresh. It was like you know how the needle like they sewed it, it's supposed to heal before they go take it out. It was opening up. Her wound was opening up because of the much stress and walk we were walking. She was screaming. It was so painful. She was crying. I was trying to help her, But then one of the men came back to us and said, she needs to shut up or else they will just shoot her. And I was like, where is your heart? Like, she's in pain. And I get that you don't know she'll have a surgery, but she's in pain here. Like, what do you mean you will shoot her if she doesn't shut up? So we were still walking. I tried to calm her down so she can be quiet because these people are ruthless. They will actually shoot her and nobody can do anything about it, like he says. So we were walking. She's keeping her cry inside. In a sense, you can hear her trying to moan inside.
It wasn't so loud.
Yeah, it wasn't so loud so they don't hear her and come back again, because with them they're just merciless. So we got under one tree. We walked a lot of miles before we got under one tree, and they asked us to sit down there. We sat down there. We were squatting and they asked us to say our last prayers. I'm like, okay, well, this is it. We are all going to be killed. And then we were all kneel down and praying, and I don't even know what I was doing, honestly. I wasn't really praying. I was just confused and shocked, and I'm like, so this is it for me? Like, this is the end. I was just more in shock than actually praying my last prayers. So everybody was just, some people were crying, some people were actually praying, everybody was just doing their own thing. So, and they were standing on top of us. So for some weird reason, apparently he sent some men to bring some trucks. So when they came with the trucks, it turned out when we finished praying, he said, okay, everybody shut up. So we all were quiet and scared and just holding each other and all of that. And then he said, whoever wants to live should get into the truck. Whoever wants to die should go to the left. So we have a choice. It's kind of like you get into the truck and you leave. Then you die. That's the only option. So of course nobody wants to die. Who wants to die? All of us just decided to get into the trucks. So we got loaded up into 3 big trucks, and we had to help each other in. We were helping each other in to get into those trucks because of how massive they were. We had to climb a small size car first before we could get in. And the trucks were not empty. They had I think they stole a truck that has like a gas for cooking or kerosene or something like that in like big things. They were in the truck so tall. So we had to sit on top of it and at the edge of the truck and all of that. So we were sitting there, and some people were sitting on top. Some of us were sitting on top of us because those who are left outside would be killed. So we try to squeeze each other in. And then they started moving. Some of them were on a motorcycle. Some of them were in a car. Some of them they were just everywhere. We were surrounded, the 3 trucks. So we were moving quietly. But because they just stole a bunch of girls, they were speeding, and they were speeding through like bushes, and there are trees everywhere. So when they were speeding, one of the girls, her leg was outside. So her leg hit a tree, and you can hear it crack. It was so bad. She was screaming. She was right next. I don't know why everybody hurting was right next to me. I was just so confused with what to do, how to help. And I just tried to push the legs back into the truck, and right next to me, I was holding her. She was crying, screaming, and all of that. And one of the cars stopped to tell her to shut up. Of course, don't cry, don't make a noise, but you're being stolen right now. It's just so difficult. So we continued on going. And then at one point, I just stopped paying attention to what is going on around me and who is crying around me and what's going on. I just went into my own thought. And then I remember thinking, this might even be it for me. I went to school my whole life. I wasn't even able to graduate. And now I am not even going to ever be able to see my mom or my brothers that I helped raise. And this is it for me. So I was so scared. And I remember just thinking what my mom will do at that moment. And my mom, you can give her the reward for prayer warrior. She prays with everything, whether things are going well or not. She prays about everything. And that's one thing that came to mind for me when my mom will at that moment. And she will pray. So I decided to pray. And I prayed and asked God to please not allow them succeed with what they're trying to do with us or take where they're trying to take us and all of that. I prayed and made a deal with God. I was like, okay, look, if you get me out of this mess, I promise to give my life to you forever. I will be the best on my best behavior and stuff like that. I just made my deal and even forgot I did the prayers because I finished it a while ago before something happened. So we were driving and one of their car with the most important person in it wouldn't move like few minutes, 5 minutes later after they continued driving after I finished my thought and my prayers and stuff like that. One of the car will not move and it was their leader that was in it. So of course they need to fix that car or get a different car in order to continue.
Yeah.
Every car people are packed. On every motorcycle there are 3 to 4 people on it and stuff like that. And we went far from town for them to go back and go steal another car so they could fix the car that was messed up. So when they were trying to fix the car that was messed up, the motorcycles on the side of the trucks that we were in went back to help with that. And the half of the motorcycle that was this on the front just went all the way to the front. So now the 3 trucks are empty on the sides. There is nobody on the sides to actually see what's going on with the girls in the back. So I was in the last truck. And for some weird reason, a voice told me to jump. And then I was like, jump? You want me to die? Because to get into this truck,
you have to put like a smaller car on it.
Exactly. Plus this one is spinning. This car was speeding so hard. And I remember getting in when it wasn't even moving. I had to climb another car. I'm like, I was arguing with that voice. I'm like, you want me to die? Because that's not going to happen. But then another voice said, yeah, you will die if you jump out. And another voice said, oh, jump out. The other voice is just saying jump out. The other one is saying you will die.
Don't jump out.
I was arguing with those 2 voices. Like, yeah, you have a point. If I jump, I might die. But is it worth going to go find out what these people will do with me? So I was like, And I actually decided to jump out of that truck, regardless if I die or not, because I honestly would rather my parents find my corpse than to have my mom worrying and crying and wondering if her daughter ate today and wondering what is happening with her daughter tomorrow and stuff like that. It's going to just torture. And my mom hasn't been the best health-wise. So just thinking of what my mom will go through, I was like, yeah, I would rather just her find my corpse here than to go away and she will never know if I'm all right or ever will be found. So I decided to convince my friend to jump out with me. She woke me up. She is actually a Muslim. So I'm a Christian, she's a Muslim, but she's my best friend. So it's kind of like, sometimes it's like a fight of religion. And I'm like, well, it's not really religion, honestly, because I have a lot of friends that are Muslims and a lot of friends that are Christian. I don't think it's most of religion. It's what people believe or how they feel about certain things. So, and I told her, I'm jumping out and I want her to come with me. She looked at me. She's like, you're crazy. That is not going to happen. She was like, I am insane. And I was like, well, just look at it this way. You're going with these people, right? You heard the story. You have lived through it because you grew up in Chibok. I didn't grow up. Based on the stories I'm hearing, I don't see anything good coming out of this kidnapping. You know where they're taking you to? No. Do you know what's going to happen? They might just give you to one of their leaders as a wife. They might just give you, because that's what they usually do when they kidnap people. And I'm like, I'm not waiting to find out. I'm just not going with these people. So I decided to jump out. I convinced her at the end. It took a lot of argument back and forth, but she totally agreed. And she said, I'm going first. And I was like, I have no problem with going first, as long as you're coming too. So I gave her everything I was holding at that moment and jumped out. I was holding the truck and my legs were wiggling in the air because the driver was moving and everything around. My legs were just wiggling in the air. So I was like, okay, this is for real, because there is nothing you can put your foot on to come down. It's just in the air. So I just let go. I was just expecting to die, honestly, because I convinced myself I can't jump out of this moving truck, huge truck, and still be alive. So when I jumped out, and let go, I was on the floor. My belly was hurting because I fell with my stomach. So my belly was hurting, but I was like, but I'm breathing. I'm still alive. I was like, it was a shock that I was still alive. I was like, why did I
You, your brain was calculating at that moment, like, oh, I'm alive.
I was just like, wait, I'm alive. I can breathe. It was like a whole relief. I'm like, why did I even believe I was going to die to begin with? Looking back at it, but that was what I convinced myself with. So I stood up and I just started running through the thorny bushes. I was just running like no tomorrow. I just didn't turn back. I didn't wait. I didn't know. I'm just running for my dear life because that's all I can do at that moment. I continued running and running through the night. It was like, I believe when that happened, they operated on campus until like 1 a.m. And then we didn't start walking away or driving until like somewhere. So I ran the whole night and I was getting scratches. I was stepping on like thorny things. I was bleeding, but I couldn't stop. I just wanted to get as far away as I can from these people. So I ran through the night. In the morning, I got to one village, and all of them were coming out of the bushes where they slept. And I was like, why were they in the bushes? I thought this attack was a Chibok attack. Why are they running? But apparently the Boko Haram people passed through their town to get to Chibok because they were neighboring place. So they were asking what I was doing here because I was wearing my uniform, so they know who I was. They're like, okay, what are you doing here? Why are you so far from home? Stuff like that. Too many questions. I just couldn't catch my breath. I can't talk to nobody. I was just out of shape and out of breath. So when I caught my breath, I told them, oh, the Boko Haram people came to our school and they took us, and I jumped out of the moving truck. So I've been running, and they gave me water. They tried to wash away my wounds. It's hurting and all of that, but I was okay. I can't stay here. I need to go back home. I need to get home.
Wow.
And then I continued. They pointed me. They were like, I'm too far for them to actually direct me to where to go. So they just said to continue asking as I was going.
Okay, sorry, Joe. I'm going to like break in here. We'll just go on a 30 seconds break.
Yeah.
So that we can catch our breath from the shock. Like my chest is doing do 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 do. I need to like catch my breath and come back again.
Yeah, I had to heal too. So it took a lot of time for me to get to this point where it doesn't bother me as much as well. So.
Yeah, we'll be back after the short break.
All right.
Welcome back. We're back, and Joy Bishara has been sharing, I don't know what to call it, horrific, courageous, and spirit-filled trip right now. Because I don't know what would have actually told you to jump from that moving truck if not God's voice. I don't know. For those that don't believe in God, I'm sorry, but just know that that is God saying move, and you obey. So let's continue from where they were washing your feet and directing you to go back.
Yeah, so I continued on walking. So while I was running through the bushes at night, I ran into two girls who also jumped out of the moving truck. Apparently, a lot of other people jumped out. So I ran into.
Can I ask, what about your friend? Did she jump out too?
Which one? Are you referring to Lydia?
No, your Muslim friend, the one you said you gave her your food.
She jumped out, but I didn't. When I ran, we didn't run the same time. We didn't even meet. So until I got home, that's when I found out she was already home. I'm like, how did you get home first?
Okay, now I feel so happy. You can continue.
Yeah, she got home too. She's fine. So yeah, I ran into two other girls, and I screamed when I ran into them. I thought it was the Boko Haram people, but it was the two other girls. So when we got to the village, it was the three of us that were talking to the villagers, and they were directing us on the road to follow. So the three of us were walking, and then there was a man that was on a motorcycle trying to go to the farm. So we were trying to ask for a ride because we're still too far from home and we need to get. So we asked for a ride, but we were skeptical because anybody around there can be a Boko Haram. They can just take us right back because people there, the Boko Haram live among us, and it's difficult to trust people because they're from there too. So it's more so that we were asking him for help, but we didn't want to open up on who we are and why we need help and stuff like that. But he wouldn't help us if we don't tell him what we are doing here and why we look the way we look. So we ended up having to decide if we want to trust him and tell him who we are and risk maybe ending up back where we started, or do we need that help of a ride as bad that we want to share? So we just all decided to share, and we told him in crossing fingers, hoping he wasn't one of them, in somebody who can actually really help us. So we told him who we were, what happened, how we ended up here. And he was like, oh, okay, no worries, I'll give you a ride. So he took all three of us on the back of his motorcycle. So all of us fed on it. We fed on it, and he drove us back to Chibok. And when we got back to Chibok, a lot of parents went to the school, and the school was on flame, but there was no student to be found. So every parent was confused. Oh, like when we got back there, they surrounded us asking, oh, where is my daughter? Did you see her jump up? Is she on her way? It's just too many questions going on at that point. So I told them, I don't know. I don't know who jumped out, who didn't, because I just didn't pay attention to know who jumped out or waited to find out or stuff like that. I was just running for my life. So hopefully your daughter jumped out. Hopefully your daughter jumped out. I just try to comfort them as much as I can. I continued walking home because he took us to the Chibok market, but I know my way from there. So I was able to walk back home. When I got home, my mom was out of it. She apparently went to the school, and there was no one at the school. There was no students in the school. It's all in ashes, burned down. So she went back home and just sat and started crying as if somebody died. So her friends were around her trying to comfort her. As soon as I walked in, she just stood up, ran, and hugged me. She was like so much relief that I was back. So yeah, so that was my story and how I went back home.
Wow. Like that was some really, 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 really brave story. I don't know. Maybe if I was the one, I'd have continued in the truck. Who knows? Like it's such a really scary, scary, scary journey that you had. We're so sorry about that. And thank God things are good now. So moving to the second part of your life, because your biography said you went to America. How did that episode happen? Because right now we know that this person doesn't speak like us. So obviously you've been there for a while. So how did you go there? What happened from that very moment you went back home? Did your parents sponsor you to go to America, or how did it happen?
It's interesting because I have a lot of friends, Nigerian friends, who think like, oh, the government took you to school or stuff like that. No, the government had nothing to do with my education. So when I got back home, the story became popular and everybody wants to know what happened. The Chibok saga at the time, there was no full story on what happened exactly. So the news reporters were showing up to Chibok to speak to the students that escaped. But most of the students there grew up in Chibok and they could not speak English. My English wasn't good either, but at least I grew up in Taraba where the school forces us to speak in English. So I was they were able to understand me to a point where all of them were just showing up to my house to interview me. So I was kind of like interviewed several times about the story. But then there was a congresswoman from the U.S. Her name is Congress Frederica Wilson, who went to Nigeria. She was at the Nigerian embassy in Abuja. And she decided she wanted to hear the story, firsthand story from the girls who escaped. So she reached out, and there was a family in Jos that a pastor from somebody from Abuja, I don't know how it linked up, but somebody from there who coordinated with her reached out to the people in Jos, and the people in Jos reached out to people in Borno State. And that's how my my uncle Whew, I need to catch my breath because one of my cousin, kind of like a cousin friend, her dad and my dad, they have the same dad but different mother. I don't know how to say it, but we are related. So she Dorcas Yakuba is her name, and she is still not yet found, which is 8 years ago.
Sorry.
So he was the one who came to our house. My mom at the time was so protective and doesn't want to let me out of her sight when I came back. So he went to my uncle, whose daughter is still missing. He's trying to get people to share the story to see if we can find help so his daughter can come back as well, stuff like that. So he came to our house and went to my grandmother because he knew if he went to my mom, it was gonna be
Yeah,
it was going to be a no. So he went to my grandmother, and my mom respects my grandmother so much, and she will never say no to my grandmother. So he went to my grandmother and was like, "Oh, Mom, so I'm here to ask for the pastor reached out to me asking if I can get some girls who escaped so they can go share their story in Abuja. So I'm here to see if it's okay for me to take Joy with me to Abuja to share her story with the congresswoman who came from America." My mom said no. She said no completely. But my grandmother decided that yes, I'm going. So it was hard that my mom was going to let me go, but she did. And I and Lydia and I were the two people who my uncle took to Abuja. So we went and we were in front of Congress Frederica Wilson. She actually didn't went there alone. She came with Congress Joyce as well. The two of them went there to hear firsthand story because they heard pieces of what happened, but it's not really full story. We all went there and we shared what happened, pretty much what I just shared with you guys. We shared what happened with her. And then at the time, her first question after our story is, "So, would you like to go back to school?" And I was like, who is talking about school when I just survived? I just got kicked out of school. You're talking about school again? No, woman.
No way.
There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. I would rather just stay at home with my mom. Even if I need to go to the farm, I'm going with her as long as I'm right next to her and nothing will happen to me. So, but then I told her no. And then she was like, "Oh, okay, well, here's my card. Just think about it if you change your mind." You know, people, some people, they usually just give you a window to think about things and then get back to them. So she gave me her card. She kind of like allowed us to go and think about it. And it turned out that if I wanted to be a doctor at the time, so if I don't go to school, that dream is not going to come true on its own. So I decided that, yes, sure, I can go back to school. She was offering that if we want to go back to school, we can come to school to America. But for me at that time, it's just my safety. I was thinking, oh, I don't care where I'm going to school for. The first question I asked her when she said to America was, "How safe is the place?"
I can imagine the trauma.
She said, well, it's safe enough where this whole kidnapping of everyone will not happen. And I was like, okay, that doesn't really sound concrete, but okay. And then she allowed me to think about it. So I decided, yes, I would like to go back to school to become a doctor because I want to save lives, and I can't do that without becoming a doctor. So when I decided I wanted to go, so she said, okay, I don't know how she coordinated the thing, but it was a Nigerian human rights lawyer at the time that was connecting us with the family in just that was helping us with the passport and the visa and all of that. And they worked it out and our flight was paid and everything was taken care of. And we left in Nigeria for school at the end of August of 2014 when the event happened.
Wow. Yeah. So that was just like barely 4 or 5 months after April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, 5 months after.
Yes. And that's when we left for school here. But yeah, it's been interesting though. It's been different for sure.
So how were you able to manage a cultural shock?
That one was difficult. Because so when I came here, they have all this pizza, all this cheese, all this stuff like that. I'm only used to like fufu and some sauce to get that. I couldn't find none of that. I was so confused. I'm like, hold up a minute. And at the time we came, at the time that it was starting to become cold because of this, the winter time. So it started snowing, and I was somebody take me back to my hot Nigeria. I wanted to come back because it was so hot, and the food wasn't really what I know or what I'm used to. So at the time, all I eat is fried ramen noodles with eggs. Fried ramen noodles with eggs. Before a Nigerian lady who knows where African stores were came to our age. She kind of came and was like, okay, these girls ain't eating, because someone at the school kind of like who watches over us, she's white, so she doesn't understand that we're not eating. She just knows that we're not eating. So she reached out to someone who is Nigerian, who knows kind of like how we feel, who have been here and been through that. So the lady came and she kind of like was talking to us. She was like, oh, okay, so I know of a place that you will see something you will recognize. So she took us to an African store, and the African store has everything we need to actually cook. So we went shopping. We got we were excited. We just
like Christmas Day for you.
Yes. We just started running in that store, grabbing what we need, and we went and cooked, and that's how we discovered the African store. Since then, we never departed. We always go there to go get some food.
Oh, I can really imagine how everything was so different for you, like the whole experience. But how were you able to like deal with the trauma? Did you have to go through some trauma classes or some? How were you able to just cope with that?
Honestly, no. At the time that this whole event happened, when I escaped, even before I came to the US, it's like every time I go to bed, it's like the voice of like, oh, I can kill you right now, and nobody can do anything about it. And it's the dream that they can always come back and get me, kind of thing, because they always, even when I escaped, I came back a few minutes later, people were running through the thorny bushes to go hide because the Boko Haram returned.
Wow.
It wasn't the Boko Haram. It was like soldiers who came after the aftermath. Like, we've been on that campus. When we actually need the help, they don't show up. It was after that we were kidnapped and I escaped and came back home. I even showered and the whole event calmed down. That's when they're showing up. I'm like, this is when we need the help? Like, that was not when we need you.
Yeah.
When we were actually in danger. But they showed up, and everybody in the Chibok community thought it was the Boko Haram who came back, because we just have this kind of like panic thing. We are used to them just showing up anytime. So people just try to go to the thorny bushes to spend the night and come back in the morning and stuff like that. So it's just so traumatic and different, and people are just used to like panicking and running and always trying to run away for your life, because whenever they show up, they kill a lot of people. If you're still sleeping in your home, they burn down the whole house with you and your family in it. And it's just, people are just used to so much there that they're just ready to go, ready to run, ready to get to safety, ready to spend the night. And when I came back, we've been cooking and spending the night in the bushes for like a whole 3 weeks before everything tries to go back to normal slowly, because they can get back to any time. So when the soldiers showed up, people thought it was the Boko Haram, because the Boko Haram dressed as a soldier too. So
so you don't know who to trust.
Them anymore. So that was difficult. It was a difficult transition because I was spending the night in the bushes and not in my bed where I belong. And also like having dreams of like their voices and what they can do and what they cannot and how they can get away with it and all of that. And even when I came to the US, I constantly have nightmares over it. And it was a difficult transition. I honestly haven't really been in the therapy like to be like, okay, I want to deal with this until like this year, 2022. I dealt with it in a sense that when I came to the US, my mission, when I started sharing my story, I shared my story millions and millions of times. And at the time when I was going through it, it was difficult that I have to relieve my trauma. When I'm sharing, I'm relieving my trauma because I'm going back to like the event that happened and what took place and all of that. So it's relieving the trauma. But at the time, I was trying to quit sharing my story. But then I realized there are so many of my classmates out there that actually need help, that actually need somebody to at least come and be like,
Yeah.
okay, I won't show up when things are too late. I will actually try to assist you and bring you back home to your family right now. Because I know a lot of the moms that actually passed away from like high BP, heart attacks, just like thinking and health issues, and just having your daughter be gone for years and years and you never seen her. You
That's
can't
so horrible.
what she's going through. So it's just a lot, but I haven't really dealt with it in that aspect. It's just like sharing my story helped me deal with it. And
Yeah.
my mission is that the more I share, the more people know about it, and somebody who can actually do something about it might hear me one day and try and actually do something about it. There was
Wow.
one time in 2015 I shared my story in at DC in DC, and because I shared so many times already, that has been a year that I've been sharing my story, and I'm waiting to hear something. And I asked the person interviewing me, because he's a DC, and these are people that can just snap a hand and write a bill and try to get help and give you the money you need to go bring. I asked him, I was like, so my sisters are still missing. We call each other sisters. We're not related, but we all just call each
Yeah.
other sisters. So I was like, my sisters are still missing. Over like 100, over 200, over many of these people are still missing. What is anyone doing about it? Because I've been sharing my story so many times that I know that people hear about it. So how how is nothing being done about
Yeah.
it? Kind of like I was questioning him, and he's like, I definitely can see your frustration, and I totally understand and all of that. And he said, we offered help. We offered help to Nigeria. We did offer help. And I was like, okay, I
Really?
want to hear the update, because I've been going rooming about, I want to hear what you guys are doing and what Nigeria is doing. And it's so sad that the U.S. military and what the U.S. offered their military to go with the Nigerian military, or to train them, or to go with them to go rescue the girls in the Sambisa
Yeah.
forest, to actually go and fight and bring back the girls. But sadly, our government decided that, oh no, they can handle it. Oh, our soldiers will do it and stuff like that.
Leave it alone.
They turned down the offer and the help. So the U.S. is like, okay, since you
Hands up.
since you don't want our soldier to come and help or go with you to go bring back these girls, here is some money so you can train your soldiers and supplies and everything you need to actually go do it. Right? They were given this lots of money. I used to know how the number, because he told me exactly how much it was.
Wow.
But they were given that money to bring back the girls. And all I know that happened was more harm to the girls happened than actually rescuing, because the whoever was put in charge to go search for the girls or find where the girls are, they went in on a helicopter to go look for the girls, and they found where the girls were. But apparently, this whoever it was flying it or was supposed to handle the whole thing thought that those were Boko Haram instead of the girls. Why can't you just look and make sure who you're trying to target?
Yeah.
They actually said the girls. They put bomb in the middle of them, thinking it was Boko Haram. Who does that? Why can't you make sure? And
Hmm.
a lot of the girls that the government, after the aftermath happened, like a lot of the girls currently they're over 100. Two girls came back. That's like 99 girls still missing. It was 102. It was one, yeah, it was 112 girls that were missing. So two came back. That's 110 that are still missing up to this day. But after the girls that came back, I kind of heard that some of them came back with like injury.
Yeah.
Like 21 girls were released due to like exchange between Buhari and the Boko Haram.
Yeah.
And then 82 girls came back due to the same exchange. It's like releasing the bad men from prison and getting your girls back. Kind of like that was like between them. And it turned out like some of the girls had to come to the US for treatment, because some of them don't even have arms, they don't have legs, because of the bomb that was set that kind of set them ablaze. Some of them died in the middle of that. So out of these 110 girls that are still being counted that they're missing, Some of them died, but we don't know which ones. You can't really tell which ones because the research person was not trained enough, or instead of accepting help, they accepted money instead of accepting help. So they accepted the money and gave it to the wrong people to go do the job and caused more harm than actually good.
Wow.
There's just so much going on with our Nigerian government that I'm just like, woo.
Wow, that's like some really, really high detailed information right now, because I'm not sure we've heard this part of the info that much. So kind of like it's a privilege to really hear that. But I just want to ask, just like maybe very last question or something before we go. About 2 weeks ago, two girls were found with their babies. How did you really take that news, and how did you digest the news? Seeing the picture, what came to your mind?
Well, they were not the first two girls that actually came back that had kids. Actually, before that, there were other like Amina Aliu and other girls that came back that had kids. But with those two, it's been years and years since I've seen them. Like her, I know her for a fact. Miriam, I know her for a fact. We took like classes together. We went to CRA classes together. And so it's just difficult to see how much they have changed physically. Like their look have changed. You can still tell who they are, but it's just like they've become a shadow of themselves. And also like being forced to get married or to have
just from that night alone, their lives changed.
And just have kids with those people that you just don't know how you got there and all of that. It was too much to handle. I honestly usually share things on my Facebook, and when I see some things update, I just couldn't bring myself to do this one. It was just like a little bit of shock and a little bit of like, I'm glad they're back and I'm happy and I'm praying they heal and they get better. But our community in that aspect doesn't set those girls up for success. Some of the girls that came back recently, or like few years after and came back, they've been referred to as Boko Haram wives. How do you deal? Instead of supporting each other and try to help them heal, and putting labels on them. And how would you feel being you were forced into it, and now that you're free, hoping people will support you and give you that stability to become normal and have that stable life again, and everybody's referring to you as the outcast or the Boko Haram wife. Oh, she's just here to get details for the husband. She's not really back. Stuff like that. Like it's more so that I'm welcoming them and I'm happy, but I just know my community and how they're referred to that I'm just heartbroken. It's just difficult for people to heal, even when they come back from that, because our community, our culture is just not set up for like being able to heal at all.
Wow, that's really sad, and that's just to everyone. Like whoever you come in contact with, there are people around us. It doesn't have to be the Chibok girls. Like it could just be your nieces, your nephews, whoever it is that you know. Do not label people. They are first human beings before those incidents happen. So you kind of have to like give them their respect and respect everything about them. There's no point labeling them. Oh, this person, that person. I can really understand and imagine how those girls are feeling. Thank you so very much, Joy. Thank you so much for being so brave. Thank you for sharing your story this evening. I'm sure someone is inspired to be courageous. Someone is inspired to listen to the spirits telling them do this the right way. Take away fear and just be yourself and learn to support people. It's been a really beautiful evening with you. Really beautiful evening. Thank you so very much. I really thank you. And thank you for being so strong. And I just hope your heart and your mind heals of every pain and every challenge that you have been through. And this is me saying you are strong. Thank you for being an inspiration to so many. Thank you for choosing school, and thank you for going for social work. So I'm sure you're going to be doing a lot of social work, and we hope your dreams to have an NGO or support for people in Borno State come to existence. Thank you to your mother. This is a special shout out to your mother right now. We love her, we celebrate her, and this is to every woman out here. Be a prayer warrior. Be that person your girl child will look up to and onto someday, remembering your voice. What will you be remembered for? That is a question. Ask yourself, what will my child remember me for? Thank you so much, Joy. This is me saying good night from here, and I don't know if it's good afternoon, I'll say or good morning to you, but whichever way, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Is there any question for Joy before we go? Is there any question? Is there any question?
It's 3 p.m. right now, so it's not night, but
Yeah, so good evening.
yes.
Good evening. I hope you are enjoying your pizza and your cheese now. I'm sure you
I
can't.
still don't like pizza. It's not every food I eat still. I still go to that African grocery store.
It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. God bless you, dear. Any other question about please check if there's a question. No questions for her. Thank you so much. Your comments are dropping. Everyone is inspired and saying you're great. Thank you. Thank God for your life. It's a beautiful one. Thank you, Joy, for sharing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, dear Joy. We now call you our dear Joy. Thank you, dear Joy. What a touching story. God really came through for you. I pray God will bring I pray God will bring this to an end. Amen. We pray He brings it to an end.
Everyone.
Quite a terrible experience. Joy, you are one brave lady. God is great. So courageous.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Joy. This is me saying good night to you. We love you. We celebrate you, and the girls will be back, and your cousin will come out someday. We shall testify of your cousin.
Amen.
What's your word for the rest of the girls back in the forest? What's your word? What will you say to them? Someone is asking a question.
I've actually answered that in an interview before. It didn't go well. I ended up crying, but I'm going to try not to cry this time. So, honestly, when I actually graduated high school and graduated undergrad and graduated with my master's, I didn't just do that for me. I'm doing it for all the Chibok girls, all of us that actually where that opportunity of graduating or finishing high school was taken away from us. Those girls might not be here to achieve those goals and dreams, but I'm doing that on all our behalf. And my prayers is that every one of them will come back to their families just like I did, just like hearing the relief from my mom, seeing me come back. I just want that for every single mother of the girls that are still missing. And as you can see, God is answering all these prayers that has been prayed over those girls every year, every night before I go to bed. I pray for them and their safety and their safe return back to their family. And God is answering those prayers, as you can see. Just like week, 2 girls just showed up. Yeah, they might not have showed up the way they were, but at least they're alive, and we know it. It's sad that some girls died and we don't even know which ones died. We can't even differentiate or go through the list and be like, okay, this one is still alive. Let me pray. Hopefully she'll come back. Some of them are already dead because of the bomb and they're buried. We don't know where they are. But may their soul rest in peace, and all that isn't in vain. God is surely a God of wonders, miracle. He answers prayers in a very mysterious way. He will never let us down, and those girls will come back. The ones that are still alive, wherever they are, there will be a miracle. And
Amen.
on to that. So.
Thank you so much. Someone said, hope you're finding it easy there. Do you still want to be a doctor?
I am a social worker now, so apparently if you have any problems, if you're going through any health issues or mental health issues or whatever, I'm the person to come to. You're having relationship problems, I'm the counselor to come to. I'm kind of like a counselor now.
Every all round, yeah.
I give you therapy and kind of advice, like professional advice and stuff like that. So yes, I'm not a doctor, but as a social worker, I get to actually give you the resources you need to actually be able to find, like, let's say you have health issues. Usually I wanted to become a doctor because some doctors don't take you if you don't have the money to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. So I wanted to become a doctor to start my own hospital where I can have people come in and then they can schedule to pay later. They don't have to pay on the spot. They can still be treated. That was my goal. But as a social worker, I can still see you when you're sick and provide the resources you need in order to actually see that doctor and have that operation. So, like, I'll make sure that you have enough money to get to go see that doctor and get your health
So
straight.
you're still living
I'm
the dream.
just
Yeah,
the
you're still living the dream.
yeah.
All right, we have another question. Are you still in touch with those girls that escaped?
Yes, I am actually. We are all friends on Facebook, all friends on WhatsApp, and some of them I lost contact with them, but most of them that I knew when I was in the school in Chibok, we're still in contact. We still keep in touch and speak every now and then. So we see what each other are up to on WhatsApp personally. So yes, I am.
All right. That sounds really great. At least you're still remembering them. And I wouldn't be wrong to say some of them are with you in the US while some are back in Nigeria, right?
Yes, some of them are in the Nigerian American University in Yola, and some of them are here in the U.S. So I believe at first it was three of us that came to the U.S. first. It was me, Lydia, and Patience that came, and then seven other Chibok girls came. So at the time there was only 10 of us in the U.S. But now we have other two in Indiana and three somewhere else. So we have several in the US now. So thank God.
Oh, that's beautiful. So there is hope. With life comes hope. So if I don't know how this will be, I don't know how it will sound, but I don't just want to sound, don't get me wrong. So in other words, we can say all things work together for good because
Yes,
this is you right now.
I believe
You
in
just
that.
you wouldn't have imagined yourself like that if you were back home. So we can just
Yes.
conclude with saying all things work together for good.
Yes, I actually wouldn't regret anything that happened to me personally because when God wants to do something great in your life, He actually does it in a weird kind of way. We might not understand it, but I had to go through that to be where I am today, and I don't think I regret any of it. I'm okay, and God is still He has plans for me, and I can see His handprint in every step of mine, and just like the provision and like my parents didn't send me to school here, but there are a lot of white students who go to school here and finish school with a lot of debt. It's not even a joke. But I
Mm,
finished high school, undergrad, my master's. I don't have no zero debt. I finished.
mm,
I don't have to start working and be paying debt like every other student every single
yeah.
paycheck. I don't have to do that. Why is that? Because God saved me from that situation for a purpose, and He brought me
Mm.
here for a reason, and He'll continue doing it. So I am very grateful. Yes, you can say it out loud, from grass to grace. That's what they usually refer to.
All right, and that is so beautiful. While I was going through your page to find your picture, I actually saw a very beautiful picture. So I'm just hoping and waiting for the day we'll have a wedding announcement.
Ah,
And this is us saying, oh, guys, so he is fine. He's a cool guy. He looks really handsome. He's fair. So I won't just say much. We'll just wait for it. We'll congratulate you on the page when it happens.
wait.
All right, then. This is us saying good night. Thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate you. And for everyone watching, thank you so much. Stay inspired. Be courageous. Don't give up on your dreams. They will happen no matter how. It will happen when God is involved in your dreams. It will definitely come to pass. Don't give up. Be nice to everyone you meet. Stop labeling people by their situations or circumstances. They have names and they just show love. Give much love to people. Help people to recover. Don't be the reason for some people's pains. You understand? Some people are the Boko Haram we have right now. So don't be that Boko Haram to somebody else. Don't get it wrong and stay right. Stay focused. Be happy. Live your best life. Be inspired always to be you, and God will always help you. So this is me saying good night to everyone. Thank you for joining. If you haven't shared this video, kindly share the video. If you haven't liked the video, kindly like the video. And let's keep up the good work. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Good night. And we have our announcement for, oh, sorry, it's not good night yet. Our sponsorship, our grant is still open for those who haven't participated. You can still be part of the people to get the 20,000 naira to continue your business or to start a new business. Don't look at it with your eyes of smallness. Oh, what can 20,000 naira do? They do. The person that needs 20,000 naira has sent in, I mean, the people said, because it's not persons, that we have like about 13 people that have sent in their application for the grant. So if you're here still waiting, asking, what can 20,000 naira do? It cannot do anything, but you can donate it to us. So if you want to donate 20,000 naira to us, we'll collect it and sponsor more people that need it. So guys, go to the Facebook page, our website, Facebook page. The link is there. It's bit.ly/Lois business grant. The Lois is in capital letter, then the business grant. Okay, Lois slash no bit.ly/Lois in capital letter, business in small letter, business grant in small letter. So guys, thank you so much for joining. See you next week Friday on our Facebook group with a discussion. I don't know what's going to be about, but then it's going to be a beautiful discussion. Thank you for believing in Rachel K. Thank you for believing in Ladies with Stories. Thank you, because our platform is getting bigger and better, and we're going to do amazingly well. Please keep sharing, keep liking, keep coming up live when we're live. That is the link. Click on it. Go and apply for grants. Share with your family members. All the young girls, no more urgent 2K. Apply for a business grant. You can start business of bras, pants, jewelries, perfumes, fried yam and akara. Somebody said so. So guys, peace out from me to you. Sleep well.